bit? Say uncle, or I'll shove your nose in your afterburner! Uncle! Gee, I didn't know Decepticons had uncles!
Greetings fans, hyperfans, and people just lost looking for videos of cats on YouTube. This is sort of a retro review, hence the new 16-bit opening credits with a BitTune rendition of the theme tune. Please leave a comment in the description below and let me know what you think of it. I'm thrilled to bits that we finally made it into triple figures, and Starscream has agreed to come back to do size comparisons. But I would also like to thank Becca, who is the editor of the Shelf magazine. I will put a link to that, let's see, there. Who for various reasons is putting some of her collection up for adoption, and I have finally managed to get hold of Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. Now, whilst these haven't been super high on my list of priorities to pick up, I'm getting pretty close to having the entire crew of the Ark sitting on my toy shelf, and I do have a love for this mould. I say mould singular because yes, even though these robots are very different looking, they are actually exactly the same engineering. They were the first two robots to describe themselves as brothers. Depending on what comic book and what mythos you're into, there's various explanations of what that actually means. But when it came around to actually releasing a figure of these two, Hasbro were quite smart in the way that they engineered it. Hasbro Takara have been quite clever with their use of moulds, being able to get the most robots out of the smallest amount of engineering and machining. Some moulds have lent themselves to being recoloured and recoloured and recoloured for about 1 million different characters. Others have had slight retooling. Others they've thought a little bit more about and actually had a look at how you can build in new alt modes in one simple design. The idea with Sideswipe and Sunstreaker was to have a single mould for the alt mode, which would go through some slightly different transformation steps to give you two very different looking robots. Because of this engineering, there is actually a BotCon exclusive which utilised both robot modes to mimic the gimmick of the end of G1 figure Punch Counterpunch, who was a Autobot Decepticon double agent who could transform into one of two different robots. These two, I think, were in the second wave of Transformers Classics, which I think makes them probably almost 10 years old. If I just concentrate on Sideswipe for a moment, his articulation is pretty good. Nice deep bend at the knee, ball joint at the foot, universal joint at the hip. No waist rotation, but there is, again, that cut just above the knee. The arms are on a ball joint at the shoulder, cut at the bicep, double elbow, rotation at the wrist. Head is on a ball joint. Nope. It is on a ball joint, but there's just not a lot of space to look up. Sunstreaker, exactly the same because they're exactly the same joints. The head is slightly wider on this, and we'll get back to that in a moment. Each of these was supposed to have come with this gun and this backpack and the two weapons, as well as storing quite nicely in vehicle mode, could be combined into a larger blaster if you didn't mind the fact that it, apart from when you're filming it, used to fall apart quite often. Neither of these came to be with accessories. These have actually been donated by First Aid, who again shared this mould, but since he's had an upgrade due to the Beelzebub Boss Heroic Duo kit, which also is going to have a shoulder cannon for this guy. I was quite happy to take those two weapons off because, well, these guys need them more. The originals of these guys are quite difficult to find on eBay. There's Chinese KOs of, definitely of this guy. This mold, but in a myriad of different colours. I've never actually seen a KO Sideswipe. He's the one that tends to go for a little bit more on eBay. Transformation for both of them is obviously practically the same. Just to show you, they are identical bots. If I just turn him round, flip the head round, and mess around with the legs. Okay. But let's get him back to how he's supposed to be. So there's a little bit of an automorph feature of when you turn this round, the head just descends, and I really love the fact that Sunstreaker's antenna just fold in on their own. Make sure that license plate at the front goes down. Arms swivel up and bend in. Panel flips round, clips in there. Other side is exactly the same, so we can fast forward on that. The feet fold in quite nicely, just sliding along the inside groove there, getting them nice and out of the way. Legs clip together, bend over. It's really stiff. That's a good thing when it comes to posing, not so much when you're changing them. And then at the back, these sections push together. The license plate on that one says, "We are 84," which of course was the first year of Transformers release. Front end pushes back. A little bit of finagling just to push everything together. There you have it. The gun just then pushes underneath to give him his exhausts. Sideswipe transforms in exactly the same way. Obviously this would clip onto the top of either of those. Sideswipe's license plate says swipe. They both roll absolutely fantastically. So there you have two absolutely glorious Autobot speed freaks doing an absolutely fantastic job of standing in for their G1 counterparts. Just to finish the size comparison, and since we do have him back, there he is against the venerable Seeker mold. I'm really happy to have these two in my collection. Thanks, Becca. Thanks to you for watching. If you like the channel, hit subscribe. If you've got anything to say about this review, that's what the comments section is for. And remember, if you're keeping the mint in package, you're not a toy collector, you're a box collector. Till next time.